Yeah, I know it's when snow falls from the sky, I know.
Because they're quick. Oh yeah, what is this?
Oh my god. Just get the shovel warmed up then, okay? I'm going on the air now. I love you too. Okay, bye.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape! Escape!
Designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are high on the frozen slopes of a great mountain, terrified and caught in a blizzard, while the thing for which you've been hunting has suddenly become the hunter. And if it finds you, then for you and your companions, there can be no escape. So, listen now as Escape brings your Anthony Ellis exciting story, The Abominable Snowman.
Our first bit of luck was when we hired our Sherpa guide, little Nathan. That was in Darjeeling. When I told Nathan that we were after a Yeti, he hesitated for a moment, but then he said to me,
The Sahibs have not come to climb Samaloma?
"No, we're a little late for that, Nathan. It's already been done. The other two Sahibs and myself are here for the reason that I've told you."
The Sahibs always hire me to climb the mountain with them, but never this.
Are you afraid of them?
I have seen one.
You've seen one?
Yes, many of us have seen them.
Well, wait just a minute there, Nathan. Hey, Alan, get in here.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm interviewing a Sherpa here. This is Nathan, and he says he's seen one of those things, the Yeti. So where's Frank?
Went out to get some tobacco.
Well, come back in. I think this boy could be our man.
All right.
So, Nathan, this is Mr. Ferris.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Nathan was telling me about what he'd seen out there. Go ahead, repeat what you said, Nathan.
As a face that is evil, and when it saw me, it uttered a strange cry and bounded away, sometimes leaping, sometimes running, with great strides. It was dusk, and after a moment I lost sight of it in the snow.
Can you tell exactly where you were, Nathan?
With the French expedition, it was at 19,000 feet on Shamaloma.
Whoa. How far were you from it?
30 feet, perhaps 35.
Now wait, are you sure that what you saw wasn't an ape?
I am sure there is no ape in the Himalaya to make such a track.
What about bears?
This, too, I have been asked, but does a bear walk always upon its hind legs?
Well, that's enough for me. Thanks, Nathan. Hey, Alan.
Yeah, he'll do.
Well, if you want the job, Nathan, you're hired.
You are going to try to capture a Yeti?
That's right.
It will be a difficult thing, but I will serve with you.
Thank you, Nathan. Yeti, wild man, abominable snowman. That's the names the natives have for those things out there. But Alan Ferris, Frank Davis, and I were going to get ourselves one. We'd all done some climbing, but climbing was secondary here. Expeditions since the beginning of the 20th century had heard of the abominable snowman and observed their tracks. One or two white men have claimed to have seen them, of course. But a great ape, a bear, a monkey, wild man? Oh, we didn't know for sure. But we were going to find out. 4 weeks later, we were in the Rangbach Valley for our interview in the monastery with the Lama. Remember the Lama? The journey from our base had been uneventful, but the weather was good, and our spirits were high. From the Lama's window, we could see the great peak of Everest in the distance.
Why, gentlemen, do you desire to capture the Yeti?
Well, because, sir, we believe it will be an invaluable aid in our prehistoric research. That is, if these things are in any way human.
And for this reason, then, you have formed the expedition.
Yes.
You are familiar with climbing.
Yes, we are.
You would need to be. The Yeti move at high places, dangerous places, so my people tell me. Also, the monsoons are arriving in a short time.
Yes, I understand all that. Do we have your permission to investigate in the valley and beyond?
You have my permission now.
Well, we appreciate that, don't we, Alan?
We appreciate it.
Yes.
There is one point, however.
Oh?
I must request that no animal or being in this valley be shot. Our religion does not allow it.
Well, I guess we can respect your wishes, Llama. Now, I have to ask you one more thing.
Of course, my son.
Do you believe in the existence of the Yeti?
I myself have never seen them, but I know that they live here, above the valley, on the goddess mother of the world. It is also true that perhaps 5 and possibly more inhabit the upper Rongbach and its glaciers.
Oh, thank you, Llama.
Do you have porters?
Well,
Our guide, yeah,
Yes.
Nathan.
Nathan, that's right.
We're hiring him now. He's out there hiring them
Yes,
now.
that's right.
Oh, I trust that he meets with good fortune.
The old man with great dignity bowed slightly to us, and then we were dismissed. But I thought I saw the shadow of a smile on his lips as he turned away just for a little moment. But it wasn't long before I found out why. Nathan returned to our quarters, and his face warned us that there was bad news.
Sir, I am unable to hire any porters.
What? No porters? Why not?
Well, they know the purpose of the expedition. They will not go.
Why?
They are afraid.
Of snowmen.
Yes, they live in peace with them. They wish no trouble. They are afraid.
Well, all right. It'll be rough, but we can't waste time talking to them. The monsoons will be coming in a couple of weeks, and it's not the same as climbing Everest. We're going to travel light, Nathan, just the 4 of us. Set up a base and start hunting. Is everyone all right with that, fellas? We are.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
How about you, Nathan? You sure?
I will go with you. I am not afraid.
Good boy. Now, let's take a look at this map. Right. We'll carry a capacity load, and we should be able to make this point beyond the glacier in about 2 days, and that's, let's see here, 16,000 feet. And let's see, if the abominable snowman is in this vicinity, we have about 2 weeks to find him, boys. And then we'll start? Yes, we'll start tomorrow, Frank.
Good.
Well,
Paul,
yes, Frank.
one thing. What do the natives mean when they say they don't want any trouble with the things?
Oh, it's superstition, probably, Frank. Don't worry about that.
Oh, no, sir. It is not superstition. It is because the Yeti are cannibals. That is why the porters are afraid.
I see. Well, the weather turned ugly the day we left the village. A cold Tibetan wind blew from the west, and with our heavy packs it took us much longer than we'd thought to arrive at the point just below the Rongbach Glacier. We then set up our camp and made ourselves as comfortable as we could. And the next morning wasn't really that bad. There was a heavy overcast promise of snow, and the peak of Everest looming over us was shrouded in clouds. But the 4 of us sat there in our tents, looking at our charts and drinking hot toddies.
I figure it'd be easiest if we started at the East Glacier. It's only about 3 miles from here, and with the weather as stinking as it is, we won't run too much of a risk. So what do you think, Paul?
Well, that sounds all right. What do you say we all split up, huh? You and Nathan, Alan and me, we'll work up on either side of the ridges here, and if we spot any Yeti tracks, we can fire 2 warning shots, eh?
Yeah, alright, that'll be good enough.
And the big thing, no matter what, don't shoot at the Yeti, all right? If you do see it, just don't shoot it, okay?
Well, alright, okay.
All right. If we lose touch with each other, we'll meet back here at around 5-ish. All right, let's get going. We left the base camp at 6 that morning, and the going was rough. Alan was pretty well shot by the time we got to the 17,000 foot mark. He was having a tough time breathing. And the wind had come up again, and with it a fine powdery snow that blinded us and choked us.
Hey, I gotta take 5.
All right, move over here. It might cut some of the wind.
Oh, ooh, okay, ooh, that's better.
Well, we might as well start back for base because we can't see a thing.
Right now, I don't care whether we do or not.
And this is good weather. Can you imagine? Wait until the monsoons start
No,
out.
no, not me. Cold. I've never been so cold in my life.
We were cold. But we stayed in the half shelter on an overhang for 10 minutes. The wind was quieter here, and the snow finally let up. I noticed that the tracks we had made coming into the shelter were totally gone now, but we didn't have any worry finding our way back. I figured that Frank and Nathan had met pretty much the same thing on their side of the ridge, so we met them at the base. Alan and I picked ourselves up, and we started off in their direction.
Boy, I thought I was in pretty good shape, but up here, boy, I'm not. Oh, Paul, I'm tired again.
We'll just take it easy going down, all right?
All right.
You haven't got frostbite, have you?
No, not yet, but I mean...
What?
To the left. There.
What? Oh, yeah.
They're not our tracks, are they?
They're not unless they took off our boots on the way up, and I'm sure we didn't.
Musta just passed by. Must have seen us.
Yeah, Yeti tracks. Well, come on, let's go. We went out there looking for a set of tracks, newly made in the fresh snow, and the Yeti must have passed so close to our shelter that the thing must have known we were there. They weren't the tracks of a bear, no. Or an ape, no. More like a splay-footed, naked sort of foot. They were the tracks of an abominable snowman. Well, we began to follow the tracks, and for a while, perhaps 150 yards, it was pretty easy, but then the thing made this leftward traversal down a deep slope. And we couldn't really see the prints too clearly after that. They were angling with a sort of a side step, and as sure-footed as a mountain goat, but it was walking on two legs. That we knew for sure. There was a long silence in the snow until Alan said,
This way, Paul.
"Take it easy, Alan. Calm down."
Oh, okay. It's getting a little steeper. Boy, that thing sure can climb.
Hold it there, Alan. Wow, you're going so fast. Just hold it.
I think.
Oh my God, he's dead! He dropped out of sight over the lip of the crevice. And we weren't roped together. I got as close as I dared to the edge, the loose snow crumbling away from my overstretched body, and I looked down into the blue-black darkness below, falling away into nothingness. He was gone. He was finished. All I could think of was the noise he made on the way down. He sounded so surprised, angry, silent. The crevice might have been 500 feet, it might have been 5,000, we just didn't know for sure. And then snow started to fall again. Big flakes this time, wet ones. And I stood up across the gap 20 feet away and I saw the tracks of the Yeti, continuing up and away from us until they became lost in the blank whiteness of the glacier. It had jumped and landed, still upright on the opposite side. I went back to base camp, and an hour later Frank and Nathan returned, and I told them. We were quiet for a long time. Then Frank said,
Paul, are we going out tomorrow?
"Well, why not, Frank?"
Well, I just wondered.
We should go back. It is an omen.
I tell you, he was going too fast. He didn't have a chance to see the crevice. That's an omen. It's an omen of bad sense. That's all there is to
No,
it.
Yeti cannot be caught.
Well, we'll catch him if anyone can. I tell you, the thing was so close. If we'd looked up the next time, we would have surely seen it. All right, fellas, do you think I'm going to give up now? The next time we see that Yeti, we're going to get it.
Well, there is a chance that we can get Alan's body out.
No chance of that.
Well, do you think if we went back, we could...
No, listen. Do you think I don't want to? He's gone. I tried, but he's gone.
Okay, Paul. Okay. I wish the wind would let up a bit.
Well, maybe my morning it will, Frank. Maybe my morning it will. We'll try again tomorrow, all right? It was cold all that night. Somewhat colder because, Alan was gone. I heard Frank tossing around and I knew he was thinking about a body, broken and lonely, lost somewhere in a deep, dark place. In the morning, the three of us packed our gear and our camera and our food. It was a pretty light pack. We started up again, this time to a crest above the ridge. It was really tougher than it looked. We weren't even halfway up before we had to rest. But as I looked to the west, I saw clouds boiling up. They weren't white, no, but somber, threatening clouds. And below, the valley looked grim, ugly gray. And then the sun was suddenly gone. But we kept going up. And then I had this strange feeling. It was nothing that I could see. It was nothing that I could hear exactly. It was only a sensation of being watched. of being followed. All right, everyone, all right. Wait a minute.
See something?
No.
I have felt it too.
All right. Maybe there's something following us?
Yes, it is Yeti.
How do you know that, Nathan? How?
It cannot be something else this high. There is nothing else that lives here.
Well, maybe it's just curious. It's all right. Calm down. Don't turn around and listen. When we get up to the crest, you can flop down in the snow and stay out of sight in the slope up here, all right?
Well, what are you gonna do, Paul?
I'm gonna move around the hump and watch it. If it thinks that we're all together as a group, it may come close enough and give us a chance to grab it.
Well, you better watch your step. It looks nasty.
I will. I'll watch my step. Now, come on, everyone. It took us another 15 minutes to get up to the crest, and then Frank and Nathan hunched down to rest. They were in clear view of the slope that we had just ascended. I moved back out of sight and made my way toward the hump, which backed a long shelf on the north side of the crest, see? In a couple of minutes, I lost sight of them, and I lost sight of the slope. The wind had increased, and the clouds were spreading now, and everything was an iron gray canopy over the mountain. It was getting much colder, too. I don't think it took more than 5 minutes to reach my lookout point. And when I finally did, I had a perfect view of the ground that we already covered. There was nothing there. Nothing at all. The men, they were out of sight, and I was just waiting a minute or two, and there was just nothing. Then, all of a sudden, it came. Carried on the wind. A cry. And then gunshots. And I scrambled back to where I'd left them. When I got there, Frank was lying on his back, and I couldn't look at what was left of his face. It was terrible. There were deep rips in his clothing, and he was dead. Nathan was huddled a few feet beyond. He had the gun in his hand.
Paul?
Nathan, what is it? What happened, Nathan?
Yeti came from behind us before I could get hold of the gun. It killed him and then sprang at me. It is so strong, Paul, with the strength of 10 men.
All right, Nathan. Can you sit up, boy?
My leg, it is broken. I shot at it, but I missed it. It jumped away and was gone.
I see. Just rest. We were 4 hours from camp, and with Nathan practically helpless, it could well be 4 days or never. So I buried Frank where he was laying and then began to work down the slope. And Nathan was in so much pain he kind of half slid and crawled his way as best he could. That part wasn't too bad, but we were at the bottom, you see, and there was this ledge that we couldn't climb. It took well over 2 hours to finally get him up, and we still had 3 miles of difficult terrain to cover. The stops became more and more frequent.
Paul, leave me here. Go back.
No.
My leg is frozen. There is no feeling anymore. I shall not live much longer.
Nathan, don't be a fool. After a little rest, you'll be able to go on.
Soon the night comes. If we are both caught here, we both die. There will be snow. Much snow. Leave me!
No, Nathan, we are gonna get back together.
Please! Let me sleep! Let me sleep here. I cannot go on!
You've got to, Nathan, you've got to!
No more!
But the ranch is only a half a mile away, and from there it won't be too much longer, Nathan, please!
No, let me stay!
Nathan!
Let me sleep!
Now, come on, Nathan. Come on! You're not going to sleep. You're gonna be all right, man!
Paul, look there!
What? What is it? I suddenly turned, and for an instant, I saw it. Outlined against the snow, a crouching figure of medium height. It was covered with thick white hair. The face was reddish and bare. A semi-human face at that. It was not an ape. This thing, what is it? It then made a tremendous leap and was gone from our sight. I fired my gun. I was sure that I hit it. I knew that I had to have.
Yeti! That was he! Did you kill it?
I don't know. I don't think so, Nathan.
Then it'll be back. It has tasted blood. You must leave me.
Come on, stop with that, Nathan. Get up. Get up. Come on, get up, man. You've got to. Oh, no, Nathan.
I'm very sorry, Paul. Will you ask Muhammad to make a prayer for me?
I will, Nathan.
Say goodbye to my wife in Darjeeling. I'm sorry, Paul. I died.
Nathan?
Ah!
Nathan? Nathan! The darkness came, and with it shadows in the snow. Every hillock, mound became this thing of which I sought, motionless and waiting. In my mind I kept seeing its powerful long arms and the dreadful claws it must have possessed. I carried my gun in my gloved hand, but I knew that I couldn't fire unless I was barehanded. And that meant my hand would freeze to the gun, so suddenly I knew that I had to do something, but I felt myself slipping away, and it was such a short incline. I reached the bottom of a hill, but my gun, it was gone. I lost it in the snow. I've got to find it. I've just got to find my gun. Where could it be? Then suddenly, at the same time above me, at the top of the bank, I saw it again. The great thing. It stood swaying a little, looking down at me. I moved away from the Yeti, slowly. Slowly, I inched my way towards the spot where I thought I had seen my gun glint in the light. As I drew closer, I kept my eyes looking up, but it didn't move. It only stared down at me. And I thought I saw its little eyes glittering. I thought, my gun's frozen now. It's frozen, and if it doesn't fire, I got so close to it, near enough to take off my glove. But that moment in which I'd have to bend to pick it up, that's when it would leap down on me and tear my throat out. It would tear but I did it. I reached the gun, I grabbed it, and I pulled the trigger. It lay there, strange and terrifying. Its blood staining the snow slowly. It oozed and looked at me. It looked at me until it died. It was dead, but the eyes kept on staring at me after death. It must have been the shots that loosened the snow on the ice of the ledge below. I heard the sound and I tried to run. This avalanche passed me by and swept on down toward the valley, the thunder of it dying off in the distance. But when I was finally back, there was nothing there. The Yeti was buried, somewhere under tons and tons of snow. I made my way back to the Rungbuck village, and I don't even remember how. I don't remember anything for at least 2 weeks. But at least I'm alive. And I'm not going back there again. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. That's all anyone should ever know about the abominable snowman.
Escape has been brought to you by Anthony Ellis. Thank you for joining us tonight for an episode of Escape, tonight and every night here on the BBTBC. And that's a good night from me.
That's good enough for me. And we're out. So what was this one about?
Oh my God, Gary. Put Gary on.
Hi, Mom. I'm coming.
You killed everyone. We never get scripts where you. But my God, almost all of them except for Paul.
Paul.
Isn't that insane?
No, it's not Paul. It's me, Mom.
Wow.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.